Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Doug Saravo Show. As always, I'm your host, Doug Saravo. Now, tonight, it's not going to be your typical Monday night podcast. We're going to do it a little bit different tonight. It's going to be similar to Dougie and Espo, where we're in the studio, we're going over a few things, we're doing our bets, our top five teams to win, our top five players, whatever it may be. So tonight, based on the start of the Major League Baseball season, I am going to pick my five top teams to win the World Series. And to start, a lot of people may come at me and be like, you're really going to go with this team? And the first team I'm going to pick is the San Francisco Giants. And the reason why I say that is because this is a team that has a lot of the young core pieces in place, and they came here in 2018, 2019. You could talk Mike Yastrzemski, Orson Slater, but you also have the veterans here in Buster Posey, Brandon Belt, Johnny Cueto, Evan Longoria. And to start this season, if we look at the standings, they are currently 20 and 14 in the NL West. Their run differential is plus 27. Their their home record is 12 and 4. And I know a lot of people are going to come to me and be like, the Dodgers are going to run away with the division. You still have the Padres. But the one thing that people seem to not understand is that this is a Giants team that had their years of struggle. And now they have their experience to win these games. So my first team is the San Francisco Giants. I know a lot of people may disagree with me on that, but I think this is a team that has what it takes to go on a nice run. Yeah, you have the Dodgers. They're going to get back on a hot streak and get to where they need to be. But I think this is going to be a Giants team that will be able to compete with the Padres and the Dodgers. I think the Giants are going to be up there fighting for a wild card spot, if not the division. I still believe this is the Dodgers division to lose, the Padres division to lose. But based on what I'm seeing so far, the San Francisco Giants are a team to watch out for. And, you may disagree, you may hate on that pick, but there's no reason why they can't be one of those teams. So my next team to look out for is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. And this is another team that has been playing good baseball. I believe they're 12 and 8 on home. I almost said home ice. They're 12 and 8 on home field, 21-14 record, run differential of plus 23. And I just think that this division is the weakest out of all divisions. I don't think the Cubs are going to be up there competing for a playoff spot. The Reds I look to be better. They're not performing the way I expected them to. The Pirates, they're going to be at the bottom. And then maybe the Brewers are going to be out there competing. So I just think this is a division that the Cardinals will run away with. They were another team building their core with Harrison Bader, Tyler O'Neill, guys that haven't been there before. You had your veterans of Paul DeYoung, Matt Carpenter, you had Adam Wainwright, you had Yachty, you added Paul Goldschmidt. And then this past offseason, you go out and you add Nolan Arenado. To have Goldie and Arenado at the corners, third base and first base, this is the team that could go on a run. I really don't trust their bullpen that much, but with that offense, with that pitching staff led by Jack Flaherty, Carlos Martinez going back to the rotation, this is a team that could go on a run, and that's why they're at number four. You have a lot of teams that are going to be up there competing, but I think these are teams that could surprise a lot of people and come out with a wild card or a division. Who knows? This could be a matchup in the LCS. Call me crazy, but based on what I'm seeing so far, these are the first two teams that I could see winning a world championship. Now, this ain't the best team, don't get me wrong. This is what I'm seeing so far. I don't want people to get confused on, you're really thinking the Giants are better than the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mets? No, I'm not saying that at all. But based on what I'm seeing so far, here, let's write it for people that may get, they may get mad at me. So far, these are so far predictions. No way do I think the Giants are better than the Yankees or the Red Sox. No way. All right, so now let's go to the AL East. My third team to watch out for, based on this season so far, is the Boston Red Sox. I think the addition of Alex Cora, I want to say, yeah, you could say addition because he got fired and now he's back. I think having Alex Cora behind that bench is a smart move for the Red Sox. Bringing him back was a smart move. I still think the Mets should do it with Carlos Beltran. I still believe in that. But looking at this Red Sox team, they are 22-13, and they're 22-13, run differential of plus 36. They're struggling on home field, but that road record of 12-4, that road record of 12-4 is huge, because if you want to win a championship in sports, you have to win on the road. And we've seen that struggle with the Devils this year where they couldn't win on home, but they won some games on the road. You have to win on the road. Because if you're a team that is going to start off in the playoffs on the road, for example, there was a team, the Nationals. Look at that 2019 World Series. They won Game 1, Game 2, Game 6, and 7 on the road. If they couldn't do that, they would have lost that World Series. They might have lost in 5. They might have gotten swept. Because the way the Nationals performed on home turf, Game 3, 4, and 5, you would think in Game 6 the Astros would have won a World Series, and I know a lot of people wouldn't want to see that. Nationals played good baseball on the road. And I think if the Red Sox do that this year, they could be one of those teams that could win a World Series. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that say, bring up that Alex Cora Houston Astros controversy again. But I think this Red Sox team, especially when you have JD Martinez, Alex Verdugo, you have Kristen Vasquez behind the plate. I believe Bobby Dalbec was called up this past season too. Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts. This Red Sox team can make a lot of noise. So, AL Central is honestly, I don't see a team coming out. Yeah, you're going to have a divisional winner, but I don't see a team getting out of that first round. Because if you think about it, it may be the Red Sox versus Oakland, and then the wild card team versus the Red Sox, and then Oakland versus the White Sox. So I don't see, this could be anyone's. The White Sox, the Indians, the Royals, they started off well and they've been struggling. Looks like they're on an 8-game losing streak. They're on an 8-game losing streak. The Royals, starting the season 16-9 to now 16-17. So I'm not going to get to the AL Central. What I am going to do is I'm going to stay in the AL East, and it's going to be the New York Yankees. I think the Yankees have what it takes to win a world championship. Their pitching rotation has been phenomenal, especially when you add Corey Kluber. His last 2 outings have been great. And surprisingly, the bats have been waking up. Especially Giancarlo Stanton. This is a guy that was ready to get booed out of the Bronx the way he started off the year. But he has been playing phenomenal the last few games. He has been playing phenomenal, and he is going to be huge for this New York Yankees team if they want to go far and win the World Series. I think they have the pitching. I think they have what it takes to win a World Championship. And based on what I've seen so far, I think the Yankees are going to be up there. I think they'll be one of those teams that they're going to run away. And what I mean by that is right now they may be 2 games over 500. But once they get on that groove, once that pitching staff stays consistent, the bats wake up, you're going to see the Yankees being in one of those top five spots of the power rankings consistent. They may be at the two for 1 week. They may be at the four another week, the one. So this is the Yankees team. They have what it takes to go far and win the World Series. Now, my number one team. A lot of people are going to come to me and be like, you're really going there? And I am going to go there. Based on what I've seen so far. Based on how they have been performing. Yes, a little up and downs, a little bit inconsistencies. But based on what I've seen from the bullpen the last few games, especially Edwin Diaz, the New York Mets have the best shot, in my mind, to win the World Series this year. The New York Metsies. And here's why. For the past few years when the Mets have been struggling, a lot of the issues were this, especially when DeGrom started. A lot of the issues were this. Bullpen, bullpen, bullpen. The Mets bullpen kept on struggling. You could bring in Familia, struggle. You could bring in Diaz, struggle. We saw it the 2019. Kept coming in, gave up a home run. And now he's been performing like the Mets want him to. He's performing the way Mets fans want him to perform. This is a Mets team that has what it takes to win a world championship. And when Francisco Lindor gets on a streak, when Pete Alonso goes on a streak, Michael Conforto goes on a streak, I believe that the Mets have the best shot out of all these teams that I've seen so far win the World Series. Now, that's so far. This is who we have so far. Give me a moment. I need to buy a real life eraser. This is so far. That was so far that I just did. Based on roster, these are my five teams to win the World Series, and I don't have to go over it. But I like the Mets pitching staff. I like the Mets bullpen. Number 4, I'm going to go with the New York Yankees because I like their rotation. I like their bats. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Oakland Athletics. I think they are on the right track. They have the depth. They have the pitching. They have the bullpen. Offense, not so much, but their guys step up. Matt Chapman steps up. Matt Olson steps up. You could say the Houston Astros could be right there in the third spot, but I don't trust the Astros pitching rotation. Number 2, when they wake up, I think the Dodgers are going to be the best team to win the World Series because you have a healthy lineup, you have a healthy bullpen, healthy Kershaw, healthy Jansen. So I think the Dodgers have the best roster overall. We've seen it in the past. They even in 2017 when they went to the World Series the first year, they were struggling. Then Bellinger got called up, and they went on this hot streak. So I believe the Dodgers are going to be number 2. Athletics, Astros could be a tie-up at 3 and 4. Yankees 4, Mets 5. But my number 1 team, based on this year, and I know they're struggling, but that's the San Diego Padres. I just think they just have the depth, 1 through 9. They have the pitching. It's a 6-man rotation, basically, in San Diego. I think Chris Paddock is at number 5. And then number 6, you have Joe Musgrove. You have Yu Darvish. You have Dinelson Lamet. Blake Snell, my man. Wish he was in Tampa. But based on roster, not current standings, this is who I believe have the best shot to win the World Series. Padres, Dodgers, Athletics, Astros, Yankees, Mets. Because it's going to be interesting to see where these teams go. So far, the Yankees have struggled. The Mets struggled a little bit. The Dodgers have been struggling a lot. But there's a reason why they play 162 games. Now, if this was a 60-game season the way it was last year, it'd be an interesting postseason because the teams that, for example, the Dodgers 60-game season, they would miss out this year because you have the Giants on a roll. You have the Padres in front of them. When you look at Major League Baseball and the 162-game schedule, there's always going to be those top teams that have a good stretch, and then they get cold. You know, we see the Yankees where they started 5-11. They're now 18-16. So this is going to be an interesting baseball season for sure. And the Mets, when they get Syndergaard back, when DeGrom gets offensive support, the Mets are going to make a lot of noise. And I think 2021 is their best chance to win the World Series. Because we have to understand something. Michael Conforto still doesn't have a contract. So we don't know if he's going to come back or not. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Mets team. They have the best bullpen in baseball right now. And if the Mets stay healthy, they stay consistent, the Mets will overtake the Dodgers. The Mets will overtake the Padres. The Mets will overtake the Yankees. So if you're a Mets fan and you're watching this, you got to be excited. The Mets are playing good baseball. The Mets have a good bullpen now. They're very consistent. Prior years, the Mets bullpen, Mets pitching were inconsistent. So they're current, and if you look at the standings, Mets are currently 16-13, 5-game winning streak. Only difference I don't like is that run differential of -3. So, based on this, I think the Mets have the best shot to win the World Series. They're playing good baseball right now. If they could keep it that way, watch out. Mets will end up a champion sooner or later. They're a lot closer than they were in prior years. Again, thank you for joining me on the Doug Serravo Show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. We will see you next time. Thank you, and God bless you all. Where the Monroe Falcons are playing the St. Joseph of McCutcheon Falcons.
Past that game's history, we have a state's championship on our mind now.
The Ranch, the Buffalo.
It all works together very nicely.
Welcome to Falcons Insider. On today's episode, we're doing a lot of great work. You know, this is work that people said couldn't have been done before.
A lot of money doing something you love.
Re-elected team reporter.
Yeah, what a season that was for you. 54 points in 18 games.
But definitely, I mean, when I said that we're going to win GMCs, I think that's another one that we remember. Yeah.
Go down in history. You just said it with so much confidence.
Growing up, I wanted to be in the NHL. I wanted to be just like my idol, Martin Brodeur. In life, sometimes you win some, but sometimes you will lose some. Being successful isn't about chasing a paycheck. Being successful is about chasing your passion and building a foundation to where you want to be. You only live once, so you might as well do what you love. Think big. Don't just settle. People are going to hate, doubt, and tell you that you can't. But if you put your mind to something, nothing is impossible. Think big.
Alright, we're back on the Doug Saravo Show. That was pre-recorded from earlier today discussing my top 5 picks to win the World Series as of now. Obviously, I think the Dodgers are going to be there. So, Taylor Hall, he looks so happy to be in Boston. He looks happy to be a Boston Bruin, and it's crazy to think that if the Oilers didn't draft Taylor Hall and they went and got Tyler Seguin, Taylor Hall would have been a Boston Bruin to start his career, but I think this is a place where he's going to finish his career. And he is just so happy playing in Boston. I couldn't have been prouder to be a Devil fan and to see Taylor Hall go to a team that has a shot to win a Stanley Cup. This is a guy that's made a difference for the Bruins since he's came here. And I'm going to look up his stats for you and we'll share the screen, so just give me a moment. Alright, let's see if we see that. There we go. So ever since Taylor Hall got traded to the Boston Bruins, when he was a Buffalo Sabre, everyone was talking how this guy is a bust, how this guy, he's awful. Waste of a contract, a fluky MVP season. He had all this hate coming at him. He scored 2 goals, 17 assists, 19 points with the Buffalo Sabres, as you see right here, in 37 games, a negative 21. But here's the thing. The Buffalo Sabres were a joke of a team this year. They were that bad. And you can't really blame Taylor Hall because there was so much drama in Buffalo. And then the guy goes to Boston, has 12 points. He's a plus 14 in 15 games. 6 goals, 6 assists, and the Bruins are the 3rd spot in the playoffs in the East Division as they will take on the Washington Capitals. And I think this is a Bruins team that has what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. I truly do. I think they have one of the best teams, one of the best systems in place. This is why they've been successful for the last 10 to 15 years. So yeah, Taylor Hall's been playing phenomenal since he became a Bruin. And I think they are going to look to extend his career here for the foreseeable future. I think he's going to extend there, and I believe he wants to stay in Boston. The guy is 29. He's still in his prime. Why leave? I understand you want to test the waters. I understand you want to test free agency and see where things go. But it's not like he's past his prime. The guy is still 29 years old. It's a shame that the Devils couldn't lock the guy up. It's a shame that we couldn't extend him and have the young pieces with Nico Hischier, Sharon Govich, Brett, with Taylor Hall. So to see where Taylor Hall is and where the Bruins are since he's became a Bruin via trade, I think they have one of the best shots to win the Stanley Cup. I think they could come out of the East. I'm happy for Taylor Hall. I really am. I don't see a reason why he would want to go somewhere else via free agent. I don't see a reason why. And when we're looking at Taylor Hall, the guy, yeah, he had his up and downs in New Jersey, Edmonton, Buffalo. But the guy found a home in Boston. He found a home in Boston. And he's going to be here in the long run. I do believe, because of Taylor Hall, the Bruins have one of the best chances to win the Stanley Cup. And that has really been the best trade of the year. And when you think about the player Taylor Hall is, I understand when he was a Devil, there was a lot of backlash where people said, they don't want to play with him. He's a cancer in the locker room. He's a selfish player. Taylor Hall deserves a cup, and Taylor Hall deserves the respect because all the guy wants to do is win, and he shows it night in and night out, and I'm rooting for him to win a Stanley Cup. If Boston goes to the Stanley Cup, I will be rooting for Boston. I really do. I barely root for Boston to win the Stanley Cup. I wanted to see St. Louis in 2019, and then I rooted for them in 2011 against Vancouver. But I want to see Taylor Hall. I really want to see him get a cup. The guy deserves it. The guy found a home in Boston. There's no reason why he won't extend his contract beyond this year in Boston. The guy truly deserves it. There's no question about it. Thank you for watching this episode of the Doug Saravo Show. Dougie and Espo will return this Wednesday. I appreciate your support. As always, thank you for supporting Saravo Broadcasting, the Doug Saravo Show, and all people involved with Saravo Broadcasting. I'll read the ad. Thank you for supporting the Doug Saravo Show, Saravo Broadcasting, and all those involved with Saravo Broadcasting. Thank you. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the week, and God bless.